All right, we're in Millionaire Real Estate Agent. We are continuing our journey on the 24 topics of the Millionaire Real Estate Agent. Today, we are on topic 8, economic models. We're going to be on pages 131, 175, 179, and 181. Write all of those pages down because we may not get to the content on each of those pages. And I want you to do your homework and read pages 131, 145, 179, and 181. All have to do with the economic model. This is topic number 8 on the 24 topics of the Millionaire Real Estate Agent, your playbook. All right. The percentages show you what you need to do to get where you want to go. In order to get where I want to go, what do I need to do? Well, the answer to that question is in the economic model. The next thing I want to share with you is what is your financial goal? Is it $100,000 in net income? Is it $200,000? Is it $300,000? Is it $1 million? Whatever your model, whatever your goal is, it's your goal, not my goal. And what do you need to do in order to earn $100,000, in order to net $200,000, $300,000, $1 million? The answer is in the economic model. What would it take to build a database of METs in your market to reach that goal? So if your goal is to earn $200,000 in net income, how many MET contacts would you need in your database in order to achieve that goal? Well, what are the key numbers that I shared with you yesterday? I want to say it's page 148 from memory. Gary Keller shares that our research shows that for every 12 MET contacts you have in your database on a 36 touch, that's critically important because if you have 12 MET contacts in your database and you never speak to them, you're not going to get these results. So for every 12 contacts in your MET database on a 36 touch, which includes 4 phone calls per year, meaning you're calling them once every quarter and you're having a conversation with them. It's a care call. It's not a sales call. You're leading with gratitude. You're bringing value to the conversation. You're following the Ford model of communication: family, occupation, recreation, dreams. And you're creating top of mind for your contacts for your MET database. So when they think of real estate, they think of you. Now, once every 3 months when you're checking in, Islin, and you ask, hey, just out of curiosity, if you knew of somebody that was going to buy a home, sell a home, or invest in real estate, and that's the script, just like that. It's a script just like that because there's a difference between if you knew of anybody looking to buy or sell a home, and if you knew of somebody that was looking to buy a home, sell a home, or invest in real estate. It does make a difference. Buy a home, sell a home, invest in real estate are all embedded commands. And you present them with downswing so that they are embedded command. So Moselina, if you knew of somebody that was going to buy a home, sell a home, or invest in real estate, would you refer them to me? Awesome. Just out of curiosity, who do you know? Now, if I'm having that conversation with Moseline because she's one of my MET contacts and I'm providing her with value 36 times a year, and I'm just checking in once every 3 months to see how she's doing. I'm having a Ford call conversation with her. It's a care call conversation. And I am checking once every 3 months, just out of curiosity, who do you know that's looking to buy a home, sell a home, or invest in real estate? When people know someone that's going to buy a home or sell a home, and they think of you, and you call to check in on them, you're going to get referrals. Does that make sense? It makes 100% sense. And yet, very few real estate agents do this. So the reason I am slowing down and drilling deep is I want you to get this. Have a database. Build your database as big as you can. And then communicate with your database. You want to build a really successful real estate business? That's it. That's how to do it. Now, the question then becomes, how many Met contacts do I need in my database in order to earn $200,000? How many Met contacts do I need in my database in order to earn $300,000, in order to earn $1 million? How many contacts would you have to add to your database each day to reach that number? That's the next question. So if the answer is I need 600 Met contacts in my database in order to earn $1 million, which by the way is exactly the number. That's gross $1 million, not net $1 million. I have currently 100 contacts in my database. That's 500 contacts that I need to add. Now, if I'm working 50 weeks, 5 days a week, that's 250 days. How many contacts would I have to add every day, Michelle, in order to get to 600, in order to add 500 more? So I am now at 600 versus 100. I'll do the math for you. It's simple. It's 2 a day. 2 a day. Hey, my name is John Dietz. I'm a real estate agent with Keller Williams Realty. I like to keep my friends and family members updated on the market. That simply means that I send interesting information to them once a month, and I call every 3 or 4 months just to check in. Would it be okay if I added you to that group? That's the script, delivered just like that. If you have that conversation with 10 people a day, I promise you, I would put money on it. It's a money back guarantee. Come tell me if I'm wrong. 2 people are going to say, yes, I'd be glad to be a part of that group. 8 people might tell you to take a hike, you weirdo. I don't want to be in your database. No. 2 are going to say yes. I'll prove it. So my wife goes to CVS or Walgreens. They ask for her phone number. Here it is. They ask for the address. Here it is. They ask for whatever they want to know. She's going to tell them. They ask me. I'm like, no, I'm not giving you that. So there's 50% of the people that said yes. Now I'm the jerk that said no, but whatever. That's a different conversation. All right, page 131. When you look at your economic model, you can clearly see that it has a beginning and it has an end. The end is the net income you will receive. The end of the economic model is the net income you will receive. The beginning is the number of appointments that you need to go on in order to earn the amount of net income that you want to earn. Now, I have a question for you. You can put the answer in the chat if you want, or you can just unmute yourself and give me the answer. What type of appointments is Gary talking about on page 131 when he says the end result of the economic model is appointments? What type of appointments is he talking about? Say it loud like you know the answer. Listing appointments. It's appointments with buyers and sellers to either take a seller listing or to get a buyer agency agreement signed. That's the end of the economic model. How many listing appointments do I need to go on in order to net $200,000, in order to net $300,000, in order to net $1 million? And what is your net income goal? Is it $100,000? Is it $200,000? Is it $300,000? And how many appointments do you need in order to net $100,000, in order to net 200, 300, or $1 million? Now, you can do the homework in your own time, and I want you to do this. Now, I'll give you the basic information you need to know, all right? If you can see that, good. If your net goal is $100,000, you have a cost of sale if you're part of the Keller Williams Coral Springs Market Center. And I'm speaking to that group since that's who I'm team leader for. If you're part of this market center, you have a cost of sale of $16,000. And you're going to have operating expenses. It's going to cost money to market those listings. It's going to cost money for signs and lock boxes and postage and advertising and postcards and so on. And if you look at the budget model of the Millionaire Real Estate Agent, the economic model, the budget model for a Millionaire Real Estate Agent is your operating expenses should be 30%. Now, don't write that down because it's not the same if your net goal is $100,000. Your operating expenses at $100,000 should be approximately no more than 10% of your net income, which means 10,000. Did I get that right? All right. So in order to net $100,000, I'm going to gross $126,000. Now, if my average commission is $10,000, then that means I need to close 12.6 units. And if 50% of my business is listing side and 50% of my business is buyer side, that means I need to close. We're going to make the seller side 7. I need to close 7 seller units. And somebody get their calculator out for me, please, and take 7 divided by 0.75, because we're going to use the numbers that Gary gives us in the Millionaire Real Estate Agents, which tells us that 75% of the listings we take are going to get to the closing table. So how many listings are we taking? So you're taking 9 seller listings. I want you to take that, divide it by 75% again. And the reason we're doing that, 0.75. The reason we're doing that is because if you learn your listing presentation, if you master your listing presentation at a high level, Moselene, you should convert 75% of those appointments to listings taken. So if my goal is to take 9 seller listings and I have a 75% conversion ratio, how many appointments am I going on? 12. There it is. 12 is the answer to the question I asked just a few minutes ago. That's 12 seller appointments and 12 buyer appointments. So 12 seller, 12 buyer appointments, because the other side of the equation is exactly the same. So that's 24 appointments. So the answer to the question, how many buyer and seller appointments do you need in order to net $100,000? The answer is 24. There it is. 2 per month, 1 every other week. And you're on track to net $100,000. Is this helping?
Yes.
Yes. Should I keep going?
Yes.
Oh, okay, good. I was going to anyways. All right, page 175, the Millionaire Real Estate Agent. Gary goes into a conversation on the economic model of a millionaire real estate agent. In other words, according to the definition of the Millionaire Real Estate Agent, a millionaire real estate agent is someone who is netting $1 million selling real estate. Wow. That's thinking big, right? Good. I want you to think big. You know, I was thinking about this yesterday, bunny trail alert. Here we go. I was thinking about this yesterday after our team meeting. And I shared numbers with everybody in our team yesterday that were big numbers. They were based on earning $1 million. And someone said, you know, most of the agents that are in the room are in the real estate business less than 3 years on average. And sharing how to earn $1 million is kind of hard to grasp for most people in the room. Okay, I get that. And I've told you guys before, I'm going to coach you to your goals, not my goals. But if I'm speaking to a large group of people, I'm going to assume every one of you want to win the Super Bowl. And I'm going to coach you on how to win the Super Bowl. If I was a coach, I would never go to my team and say, all right, guys, how many games do you want to win this year? You want to win 3? Okay, we're going to coach you to win 3 games. No, we're going to coach you to win the Super Bowl. Now, whether or not you want to go along, on that trip and win the Super Bowl or not, that's up to you, and that's fine. And if your goal is to sell 5 homes a year, I'm great with that. I will teach you how to do that, and I will support you in that goal. But when we're having conversations like this, it's always going to be based on winning the Super Bowl. It's always going to be based on thinking big. I hope everybody's okay with that. If you're not, too bad, I'm going to do it anyways. All right, page 175, Gary Keller says, the economic model of the millionaire real estate agent begins with a basic snapshot of cash flow of the business. All right, what does he mean by that? That was kind of a hypothetical question.
Okay.
In other words, don't answer it. All right. Here's what he means by that. At the top of the model, we have 2.4 million GCI. And we subtract 700,000 for cost of sale, and we subtract another 700,000 for operating expenses, and that leaves 1 million net commission. If you want to net $1 million, there it is. Gross 2.4 million GCI. You have 30% going to operating expenses, 30% going to cost of sales, and your net income is going to be $1 million. Everybody good on that? Page 178, the basic cash flow of the economic model of the millionaire real estate agent. We're going to close here. So on the pages that I gave you that we didn't touch, that's your homework. And I want you to go to that page. So you're looking at that model at the bottom of the page. 178. And we're going to slow down for just a moment because this is really important. And don't think for a moment, I'm not at that level of production, so this conversation doesn't apply to me, because remember, all of you are millionaire real estate agents in training. Eventually, you're going to need to know how this model works. And it's so critically important that you get this right, because most agents don't. And because they don't get it right, the 30-30-40 model is not working for them. All right. At the top of the model, we have 2.4 million GCI. And we have a seller side, we have a buyer side. If our business is 50-50, that means 1.2 million GCI is coming from sellers closed. And we're going to take away cost of sale on the listing side. Now, in order for the 30-30-40 model to work, cost of sale on the listing side is $100,000. If it's more than $100,000, this doesn't work. All right, pay attention. We're going to get back to how that works, or we're going to get back to how can you build a super mega team that's generating $2.4 million a year in GCI and yet only has a cost of sale on the seller side of $100,000. Because on the buyer side, we still have 1.2 million GCI, and yet our cost of sale is $600,000. Now, it's $600,000 because on the buyer side of the model, we have buyer agents who are on a 50-50 split with the rainmaker, meaning the buyer agent is earning $600,000 of the 1.2 million GCI. The rainmaker is also earning $600,000 of the 1.2 million GCI because they're on a 50-50 split. Everybody following me? All right. Now, at the bottom, we have a total cost of sale of $700,000. That $700,000 is made up of the $600,000 that comes from the buyer side and 100,000 from the seller side. I'm going to pause for a moment and I'm going to ask you if everybody on your team was on a 50-50 split. If you had seller agents on a 50-50 split and you're paying $600,000 over here and you're paying $600,000 over here, what's your cost of sale? It's $1,200,000. Now, the challenge with that is you still have operating expenses, which are also 30% of the gross income. So that's $700,000 for operating expenses. And if I'm spending 1.2 million in cost of sales, my total expenses are $1.9 million, which means I have a profit of $500,000. Are you guys following me? All right. That would be approximately 20% of the gross income. So half of what you should be earning because you set your organizational chart up the wrong way. You set your team up the wrong way. Now, there's two ways that you keep your cost of sales at or around $100,000. Number one, you as a rainmaker take the majority of the listings for your team. Please write that down. Or you take all of the listings for your team. Meaning that in your organizational chart, you have buyer agents and showing assistants who work the buyer side of the organizational chart where your cost of sales is a total of 30% of your GCI, or in this case, it's going to be approximately $600,000. Now, the other way that you keep your cost of sales at or around $100,000 is by hiring a rock star listing presenter. You hire someone who has mastered the listing presentation at a super high level, Aaron, who can go on appointments and get the listing almost every single time. Okay. Now, that agent's job, they don't lead generate. They don't negotiate contracts. Their 20% is one thing and one thing only, and that's go on appointments, get the listing. And you pay them a salary of $100,000 a year to do that. And I promise you, if you're feeding them appointments, your team is scheduling the listing appointment for them. And you're simply giving them a list of appointments to go on. And they're taking a lot of listings if your gross commission is $2.4 million. And Diane, I've got 3 appointments for you tomorrow. One at 11, one at 2, and one at 5. They're all listing appointments. Go get them all. Bring the paperwork back to the office. We'll take it over from there. We'll enter the listing in the MLS. We'll take care of all of the marketing. We're going to we're going to pay for all of the marketing expenses. We're going to do everything else. The only thing you do is go on appointments, get the listing. Now, you put that ad on Indeed, you put that ad in WiseHire, and you offer someone a salary of $100,000 a year to be your listing agent, and you're going to get 100 applications. I promise you, you're going to have people lining up for that job. And even though this is the model, very few agents are following it. Which means if you ask the average super mega agent what their net income is, number one, they won't know. Or number two, it's a lot less than they thought it was. I could tell you what it is because we've done the research. It's between 15 and 20%. If you study all the super megas across the United States, that's how much money they're netting. Which means they're leaving a lot of money on the table because they're running the business the wrong way. All right, guys, I hope you really got value today. All right, and raise your hand, talk to me.
John, so much value.
Thank you.
So much value.